much. Well, a 4-day workweek pilot study in the UK was so successful, apparently, that most companies in the experiment decided to go ahead and make it a permanent thing. And joining us this afternoon to discuss this trend is Robert Bruno. He's a professor of labor and employment relations at the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. Professor, thank you for joining us this afternoon. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. I'm glad to be with you.
Okay, so it seems like more and more employers, at least anecdotally, seem to be flirting with the idea of moving from 5 days down to 4 days. What could the potential benefits be of making this change?
Yeah, there's a lot more that they're doing, a lot more than flirting with it. There's strong evidence that by shortening the work week, that there's a lot of benefit to worker well-being, to worker health. There's a better work-life balance, that workers are just as productive, perhaps even more productive. There's no loss, really, of output on the part of the employer. So the findings from the largest pilot study in the world coming out of the UK shows overwhelming positive benefits. In fact, studies that were done here in the US, or at least surveys, show that in big companies, well over 90% of managers like the idea of having to manage and supervise their employees 4 days a week as opposed to 5, and there's a lot of creative ways in which you can do that.
Okay, so we're talking about a study that originated in the UK, but with its culture of long hours and overwork, how realistic would a 4-day work week actually be in the US?
Well, first of all, certainly with its culture of long hours and overworked, there are serious issues around burnout. And so it's exactly here in the U.S. where we should be taking this very seriously. And there are pilot studies. There are examples around the country where a shorter work week, a different combination of hours have been experimented with and adopted. And frankly, this isn't sacrilegious. This isn't something that sort of grows organically. There were times in this country when we did come close to looking at a different work week. So given that we're working differently a lot after COVID, it's exactly in the United States where we should be taking very seriously what's best for the employee, and of course what works best in cooperation with their employer.
Well, it seems like there could be a lot of benefits, not just for the employees, but the employer as well. You mentioned the pandemic and how that kind of changed the dynamic. Everyone kind of recalibrated during the pandemic. However, I should probably ask, are there certain industries that the 4-day model fits well with, and others that probably can never move away from the standard 5?
Well, I would never say could never move away from the standard 5. I think it's just a matter of thinking really long and hard and being creative in some sectors. And it might be more amenable in some industries than in others. But quite frankly, if it's going to be good for the people involved, and the employer is actually able to provide the goods and services that they need to meet whatever demand that is out there, then it should be something that is at least looked at. And I don't think there's any sector, well, some will be more challenging than others. I don't think there's any sector.
Well, just like the shortened 4-day work week, we got to go. Thanks so much, Professor Bruno, for all your insight.
Appreciate it.
Thank you both.